Although the video game industry continues to flourish more and more, as of late, it feels as though we find ourselves looking toward the past with fruitful results. I know when I purchased the PlayStation 4, I find myself playing Kingdom Hearts 2 and the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, and I know that I will soon own a copy of the remastered Medieval video game that was recently announced. Is there a video game, though, that anyone feels has been overlooked and ignored? Something that you perhaps don't expect to see made into a remastered edition? Let's give ourselves 5 minutes to chew on that.
Okay, so I want to say, starting off, that this topic is in your wheelhouse. Nick has been playing old video games since the inception of the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. He is just now coming around to getting these two systems. Heck, just like a year ago, you were still playing PlayStation 2. And so I think this is right in your wheelhouse. So let's go ahead and start it with you. What do you think?
The funny thing is, it was a difficult question for me to think about because I immediately thought to myself, like,
because you've played all the old games recently, you don't need to play them again on the new system.
Kind of. Actually, that's how it was, is because, like, I don't think to myself, I need to do this. I was thinking, I love the Prince of Persia games. I'm a huge fan of those. Would I like to see them remastered? No, I just played them. I don't need to. And I figured I could be as ridiculous as I want, because this is a hypothetical situation, and of course it's probably not going to happen. I also thought about the Twisted Metal games. Because,
I love Twisted Metal. I didn't even think of that whenever I was thinking of the games.
Because I was thinking, like, well, they're doing they did Crash Bandicoot's The Insane Trilogy, so Sony, in particular, likes to do these remasters. So what if we went back and we did 1, 2, and 3 of the Twisted Metal games when we remastered them? I don't think they will, because, for starters, I think it would be a lot more expensive to make those games work. Because they were really ugly-looking games if you go back, and not to say Crash wasn't ugly-looking back in the PlayStation days, but I just feel like it would be difficult to make everything work in the same way.
Those were good games. I am on the side of leaning back to where I can't go back and play a game. So, like, any game that has been updated and put on the Xbox One, I think I was telling you about a week ago that I tried to go back and play Rayman. And I couldn't do it. I can't play those games with those bad graphics. And what's funny is
he's talking about Rayman Legends, or I do believe
I
Rayman
grew up
Origins.
with a Nintendo. That's how bad graphics were whenever I played. I grew up with a Nintendo, and I cannot go back to these games.
You're not even talking about a game that's that old.
Right, I turned into like some kind of video game elitist. I don't know what happened. I don't know, but I can't play them. So I want to play again, and I have not played it forever, so I want to play the Spyro series again.
It's funny, that's what I figured a lot of people were saying, especially after Crash Bandicoot, because people always, like, kind of pair those two together because they came up at the same time. They're like the Mario and Sonic of that generation of time.
For sure, and I would like to go back and hunt dragon eggs one last time, and I don't want to play it in the Skylander series. I was never really a fan of the Skylander series. I know that it was huge. I tried to play it, but I didn't get behind it, and maybe there was something that I was missing towards it. I'm just not into those collectibles. I didn't feel like I had the time to go out and find every single one of those collectibles to update it. Those Portal games are not really for me. Disney has one, I think, and Skylanders has one, and I believe that Mario may have one, or Nintendo has one in some way, shape, or form. I really can't play those. I don't like those. So Spyro is my big one. What would you say would be a second game? So your first one was... Did you even say a first one?
I didn't even say a first one.
So what was your...
It's because I wanted to pick out, since this is a hypothetical situation, because another thought I had was the Resident Evil games. Like, I would like to see a remaster of 2 and 3 in particular, because they're the ones that we haven't gotten a remaster of yet, but they're already working on it. I just want the Insane Quadrilogy. I want them to do a remaster of 4 of Twin Sanity, and I want them to do Tag Team Racing. Honestly, that actually doesn't even have to be a quadrilogy. Because part of me wants, because I know people don't like Crash of the Titans and Mind Over movies, and they're not anything special, but yeah, I just want to see those games, because I feel like we're only going to get the trilogy remastered and not those. But if I have to choose Resident Evil 3, because I feel like it's going to get overlooked, and I want to get a chance to play that, and I've never played it before.
So I'm going to shoot off about 3 more games that I'd really like to see, because we've got about a minute left in this conversation. So some of the games I'd really like to see is the Knights of the Old Republic. We're going back to Star Wars again. Those 2 games were amazing. I wouldn't even mind seeing a third one. I just don't... I like the MMO. I got tired of the MMO. I played it.
Ideally, a new game, right?
Right. So ideally a new game, but I wouldn't mind seeing those 2 remasters. I wouldn't mind that at all. Oddworld. And I know that I think there is an Xbox One copy, but I would like for it to be more updated. And I think I'm just getting greedy again, but I would like to have that as a more updated game. And then the big one here is, and I would really love to see a sequel to it, but I will play it again if they update it and put it onto the Xbox One. It is Half-Life. Valve needs to get it together and put Half-Life 3 out for us, but if they won't, at least give me the last 2 games. That is 5 minutes of talking about what games we would like to see rebooted. If you guys have some games, some suggestions that maybe we forgot, throw them down in the comments, and maybe someday we will make another video talking about them. Please like, subscribe, and share, and thank you for listening to the Mishmash Podcast.